When you really look at the cybersecurity industry as a whole today, it really is based on what you're preventing from happening, right?
I see.
We're preventing a breach. We're stopping this. Now the challenge is though, and I get it. They're trying to keep the bad guys out. And that's the problem. We've been thinking from an outside in perspective on security for a long time. Again, going back to, hey, the device, somebody's trying to get into the device. The perimeter, somebody's trying to get into the perimeter. Identity, somebody's trying to, get into your account, right? It's always been this outside in approach. And so it's always been this stop, stop, stop. And it means defense, defense, defense. Now, what share data fearlessly means to me, it's really saying, I'm going to go on offense, right? It's about saying the liberation. It's giving you the ability to do something instead of saying cybersecurity is preventing something from happening. It's actually saying, hey, we're opening up the ability to do something. Now, let me break that down and what that actually means, right? Going back to the dawn of human history, there's been always this balance between usability and security, right? So by nature, it means the more secure something is, the less usable it is, and vice versa. The more usable it is, the less secure it is, right? So take again this castle metaphor that we've been kind of talking about in the last discussion there. The more accessible my castle is to anybody who can come in and out, then the less secure it is, right? But the more secure it is, the less accessible it is, people can come in and out. So point is, when you think about trying to lock all this data inside of a vault, by nature, hey, it is secure to a certain degree. Now, of course, the bad guys are trying to tunnel their way and figure out different avenues to break in and go steal the data within that vault, right? So, of course, there's always the risk of somebody breaking in. So again, that's the defensive approach. But here's the other inverse challenge that I think a lot of folks don't realize is the more secure a piece of data is, the less accessible it is, which means its utility value goes way down. And what I mean by that is, data is really valuable when people are collaborating and adding to that piece of information, whether it's a schematic diagram, a Word document, a sales, projection, whatever it is. The more people you have collaborating and editing and adding to it, the higher the value goes, the higher the utility the higher the utility needs to become for that collaboration to happen, right? So that's where we're kind of at this really interesting balance point in cybersecurity. How do we create something that's really secure, but also has a very high usability or has the high utility, right? Again, I'll kind of use money as another metaphor here. If I have $100 in my hand, I can go spend that $100. The utility value is $100 because I can use it right then and there, right? But the security of that $100 is almost zero because if I drop it or somebody pulls it out of my hand, it's effectively theirs because ownership is equal to access. If I have it in my hand, it's mine, right? Now, the inverse, if I put that $100 in a safe, yep, technically I have $100. I have the value of $100. Its security is very high, but its utility value is zero because I can't spend it right then and there. And that's really when I think about what shared data fearlessly means is that I'm able to go out and achieve the utility value of my data and maximize it as much as possible by collaborating with as many people as possible while still maintaining control of that piece of information and that piece of data, no matter where it goes, inside or outside my organization. So I have trust that, hey, I know that I'm going to share this. It's going to be used for the right business purposes. And I can actually verify that as well. So the use cases there is I can prevent data theft. I can prevent somebody from accidentally stealing it or accidentally letting it out or it being purposely stolen. But on the other side of that, if there's compliance use cases, I can actually prove where that data was, who was using it, and what they were doing with it. Because again, I get all that goodness of the perimeter. So now I can say, hey, Kevin did this to this document. It went here. He opened it there, etc. So from a share data fearlessly perspective, I can say I can share it with third parties. I can share it internally. I can share it to the cloud. I can maintain those security controls wherever they go. And I can also track and show and comply with any kind of regulation that might be out there. And lastly, I can share it fearlessly, knowing that it's going to have the maximum utility value out there to extract the most value and make sure that my business is running at all times at peak efficiency.